Alright, today we have a review of the U-Mark W20 water-based paint marker. For a water-based paint marker, it's going to be a lot less toxic and it's going to not have like a really pungent smell when you use it, unlike some other paint markers that I'm sure all of you guys have used in the past. From U-Mark, it comes in 13 different colors. I'll have all of them except for the dark green here, so just be on the lookout for all the different colors. From the standpoint, I really liked using these. The little speed art kind of thing that you'll be seeing here is me testing out just about every color within that, as well as I'll go into a color test and different surface tests just to give a range of how these markers perform in different settings. The marker itself, it's got a clear body so you can actually see the paint levels. It comes with 10 milliliters of paint to start. That's pretty standard between most paint markers, as well as it also has a double nib. So what that is, if you flip the nib over from the initial bullet tip, it'll actually be a chisel tip. So the original is a 3mm bullet tip, but then you can pull it out and just flip it right over to have a 5mm chisel tip. This comes with all these markers, which is a great addition if you do want to use a low calligraphy style with them. These markers are actually intended to be stored with the tip down, just so the paint flows into the nib. I know these broke in really well, but definitely after use and after really getting them going, they definitely worked better after getting them started up. I really liked all the colors in the palette. The orange was the only one I kind of had a tough time with. The paint seemed a little bit thick and didn't feed as well, especially at the beginning, but as all of them broke in, they all really opaque, really worked well, and I enjoyed working with them. The colors that were probably standouts of my favorite, the black was nice and really smooth. I liked how that one worked. The green that I was able to use and the silver, those worked great. The red was pretty good too, and those were probably my favorite, the dark purple being one as well. The opacity on the lighter colors was kind of iffy. It did take a couple passes with the lighter colors like orange, white, and yellow to really get a smooth coverage over some of the darker colors, so you have to keep that in mind when using these markers. Overall though, the whites did work well on some smoother surfaces, but all of the markers kind of experienced a little beading, and I'll show that to you guys now, where you can see that the markers actually kind of wick away and give kind of this beaded or little pitted look from the smooth surfaces that they're not like able to set into. I found this on like some metals as well as some plastics that you can see here. This is just a kind of smooth surface test to show you what it looks like. That being said, it wasn't on all metals. Some street signs were fine to use, others it kind of just set in, and then some it beaded away. So it's kind of a throw up as to whether or not it'll set into the smooth surface. That being said, it did happen with all the colors, pretty much all of them, especially the lighter ones did bead away. So you have to keep that in mind. I'm not sure the reasoning behind that. It's just part of the paint itself.
So the paper test proved to be the most effective out of all of them. All the paint markers held up really true on the paper itself. This is just really standard paper here. I did a quick little square blotch of each of the colors. It showed that one, the colors showed true on a very neutral background, and two, that they all flowed well with just a single pass. I really liked how they all turned out, and that they all definitely worked as I expected. It was a little disappointing with the previous test of the slick surface, but both this and then the cardboard, as you'll see in a minute, worked great. My favorite colors definitely showed true through this setting as well. I also tested it out with the white marker, passing all of them with a single stroke, and you can see how that turns out. So a single stroke with the lighter colors does work a little bit better, opposed to like filling over some of them, but still the opacity of some of the lighter colors wasn't quite there for me.
Aside from paper, where the markers performed really well, I took it to cardboard as well as a slick surface to test out how these markers hold up in both like a dark brown of the cardboard as well as the porous sense of that. So overall, the cardboard worked really well. All of the colors held up to really good standards. I really liked how they worked. They all set in, but not too much that they were like beating away or anything of that nature. They all set in and the colors were true. They all wrote well and smooth and even. Definitely, like I said before, once they broke in, they all wrote even better. On the cardboard, I did some tests a couple weeks ago, and then after using these throughout, I was able to test them again for the video, and they performed even better than they had before. So that being said, just really make sure the markers are primed and ready to go for the surfaces, because it was a little drier the first time around, but now that they're all ready to go, they really, as you can see, they performed well. All the different colors really held true to what they look like in the marker body, as well as they were just crisp lines and not too much streaking at all, which is a really great characteristic to them.
After using these paint markers for the last few weeks, I've gotten a good opinion and good gist of what I really think of them. On the paper and like canvas kind of setting, they work great. They're going to be, consistent, and you're going to be able to get really great results. Cardboard and like a more porous surface where the paint marker has a chance to kind of set in and not so much slick away, it's going to work great as well. The slick surface though, I'll definitely be trying to talk to you, Mark, and see what we can do about that, as it's a kind of a really big drawback in my opinion. But aside from that, they worked great. The colors were true. The colors were nice and strong, the lighter ones. The opacity could have been a little bit better, but overall I'd give it like a B+, maybe a 7.5, 8 out of 10 for the marker. The feature that has that's really probably the best in my opinion is the double tip between the chisel and the bullet tip. In my opinion, the double tip is going to be probably one of the reasons I really stick with these markers. Definitely with the blacks at least. I know there are not too many chisel tip style paint markers that are stock with chisel tips. I know you can get them as replacements here and there, but it's nice that these come stock with a chisel and a bullet tip. I definitely suggest checking these markers out. If you have any questions about them, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, as well as leave your opinions on the review, and if you think it kind of took every piece into consideration. I also have 3 or 4 other markers from Umark that I'll be reviewing in separate videos. Be sure to click on the marker body that you see now if you want to watch that video, or click on the unboxing to check out all the different markers I unboxed from them. That's really going to do it for me. Be sure to head over to 33third, where you can use my coupon code to get 15% off your Umark purchase, and try these markers out for yourself. It's going to do it for me, guys. Peace.